Welcome back, everyone. Robert Redford has died at the age of 89. The actor and director sailed to Hollywood stardom with turns in classics like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and All the President's Men. He also invigorated American independent cinema as one of the founders of the Sundance Film Festival.
Joining us today to talk about his impact on cinema across the country and of course right here in Austin is Austin Film Festival's Executive Director, Barbara Morgan. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, hi, thanks for inviting me.
You know, so many people today are mourning his loss and also just remembering his legacy, the impact he had. What stands out to you about the imprint he left on the industry?
Well, you know, he was such an amazing actor, and like at the time I grew up, I fell in love with him in Butch Cassidy. You know, it was such
and for good reason.
Yeah, exactly. It was an iconic film, and both of them were so incredible in that film. But you know, I think what the more interesting thing about him is he realized this true movie stardom, and he used it actually to help others, and that's really what the beginning of Sundance was, right? He started that in I think the late '70s, and though there were a lot of other film festivals, his focus was on new voices, and which is a conversation we're still having today, right? How to get that to happen.
Yeah.
And he just took advantage of his stardom in the auteur period and managed to bring all these new people in, like Robert Rodriguez, our you know local hero, is one of those people that came through with El Mariachi to that festival. So many people, you know.
Incredible.
And I just want to note that Robert Redford has a lot of connections to Austin. We want to show you all some pictures from 2011 when he joined Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein to talk about the film inspired by their work into the Watergate break-in. So talk to us, Barbara, about what other connections that you have determined from Robert Redford and his career and his connections to Austin.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there were always, you know, rumors that Robert Redford is in town, you know, and when we, like after we started the festival, and then we learned that he, in fact, had a pretty large connection to Austin. I guess some family members were here, and that he had grown up swimming in Barton Springs and hanging out here, and he, I think, made a documentary with Terrence Malick about Barton Springs, you know, which is such an iconic piece here in Austin.
Right.
And used his, you know, fame to actually help draw attention to the environment. And he was, you know, he was a very complicated man. He did a lot of things. It was amazing.
Yeah.
You've talked a bit about his activism alongside his work in the industry, and then of course mentioned Sundance. Talk a little bit about the impact that the innovation he brought to the industry. What kind of impact has that had on the Austin Film Festival?
Well, I mean, we're a writers' festival, so for us, that's the thing, you know, it's part of our mission. And the auteur piece of what he did at Sundance, which is recognizing these new writers and directors, largely people who were doing their first work as writer and director outside the Hollywood system, that brought so many incredible people that we look at as iconic filmmakers today. Steven Soderbergh, Karen Kusama, you know, the David Lowery from Dallas, who actually not just made a film that got recognized there, Ain't Them Bodies Saints, but he also made a film where Robert Redford starred in it. And so, you know, which was a huge endorsement, I think, for David Lowery's filmmaking. So he did recognize these people before other people noted them through the Institute and through the festival.
And kind of helped directed a path for them.
Yeah, absolutely. He absolutely did that. And you know, and I think in a little way, like Bill Whitliff, who was involved with us, who wrote Lonesome Dove and Legends of the Fallen stuff, he was a big writer, and Robert Redford invited him to be part of the original board when they started, and I think that impact made when we started the festival. Bill was like, "Oh, we need to do something here for that," you know. And
wow.
So I mean, you know, it's like he seeded so many things, really. And I mean, was making Dark Winds, I think, is a show he was involved with. Was still involved even up to his passing, right?
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
I mean, you have seen so many different movies during your career, I would imagine. Are there any particular roles of Robert Redford's that really stand out to you to say, like, this is the defining one, at least for me?
Yeah, well, I mean, I said it. Butch Cassidy to me,
yeah.
I think there was just no better. But he did so much, right? Because you know, the Watergate film was at the time. I think he optioned that book and got that project going, and that probably would have never happened without that, right? And then, of course, that became an incredibly iconic political film.
And journalism.
And journalism, yeah, really. Like he clearly cared about that, you know. But, you know, there were so many There are just almost too many for me to remember, you know.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be watching All the President's Men tonight when I go home and eat dinner, so that's going to be in honor of him. Yeah, I just love that movie.
Yeah, he was, and still was acting, I think, like until a few years ago. What's Marvel, I think he did, you know, he played the bad guy in one of the later Marvel movies. And just, what an interesting person, but clearly his love for Utah sparked something great for certainly the indie film world.
Yeah, incredible. I think if we sat here, we could keep coming up with the list of the ways he's impacted, and we love to hear the connections to our city as well. So, Barbara, thank you so much for your insight into his life, his career, and our Austin film scene as well.
Yeah,
we
thank you.
can't wait to watch his influence continue to let it flourish.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll